My name is Olaf Zenker. I'm a professor of social and cultural anthropology at the Martin Luther University in Halle, Germany, and I'm a fellow at STIAS right now. I do research on South Africa for a long time, and especially in the field of political and legal anthropology. And I've been studying land reform in South Africa for quite a while, especially land restitution. And normally, region-wise, my focus is especially in the Gauteng, Mpumalanga, Limpopo area. And I'm actually very much interested in the question of land reform from a point of view of what the state is trying to do and how it tries to redress historical injustices and reinvent itself as a morally modern entity, as a new polity. So that's what I've been studying a lot, and in recent years, of course, the whole question of expropriation without compensation has become a big concern as well in the debates in South Africa and also with regard to the way to go forward. And that's also how my research recently has been relating to the project that I'm doing here at STIAS. Okay, so in the past 2 or 3 years, I've been involved in a project group here at STIAS that I've been leading, and which also included a number of additional experts that were also fellows and visiting scholars here. And the overall goal of this project group was to organize and run and then afterwards publish, of course, on a conference that we just had here at STIAS, which was entitled Compensation Through Expropriation Without Compensation, Constitutional Amendment, Land Reform, and the Future of Redistributive Justice. And the overall idea was to engage, yes, also with the question of expropriation without compensation, but not exclusively, but rather put it into a broader context and discuss it with regard to land reform and also, importantly, to broader concerns about alternative forms of redistributive justice. And each of these 3 themes has had its own specialist as a fellow in the group. So for the question of expropriation without compensation and South African property law, we had Zsa-Zsa Boggenpoel, who's professor here in Stellenbosch and has the South African Research Chair in Property Law. For the block on land reform, we had a specialist, Cheryl, also has a South African Research Chair on land reform and development sociology. And then for the third block, we had this fellow, James Ferguson from Stanford University, who's a specialist working on redistributive justice. And I think the conference, we just said, was a big success. It was very intense debates we have had, and we are now busy working on the chapters to get it out as an edited volume as quickly as possible, we hope, so that we can also make an impact on the policy process that is surrounding all these issues right now. I'm also very excited that we have the opportunity to actually organize this fellow group and also especially the conference here at STIAS, because I think that this whole question is crucially important for the future of South Africa and for the next years of how to organize redistributive justice. What I find particularly interesting, and that's why I think it's so valuable to have had that conference, is to bring these different conversations into dialogue with each other. So discussions about expropriation without compensation and productive forms of land reform, but also with broader concerns about alternative forms of redistributive justice. Because one of the things I find crucially important is to really be open and honest and balance priorities with regard to reform strategies that this country urgently needs. And I think the conference has made an important contribution to that.